Baweep Grana Weep Nidibunga, I'm Engineer Hoist, and let's just get right to it. This is our first look at the newest Autobot combiner in Transformers Earth Wars, Defensor. As you can see, the bots that make him up are the Protectobots, just like in G1, well actually more like Combiner Wars, because we have Rook instead of Groove, with also Streetwise, Blades, First Aid, and Hotspot. Now this is on the test account. Space Ape is giving me a chance to get a first look at him to bring him to you guys to get pumped. These guys, Defensor and Abominus, should be getting released very soon. So let's go ahead and take a look at him in battle. Then we'll come back and take a look at how he compares to the toys. Before we get to the battles, let's take a look at the abilities. So as usual with the combiners, you get 2 3-star abilities and a 4-star ability. The first 3-star ability is the Meteor, where he jumps and shoots a fireball, dealing damage in a large area over 8 seconds. The damage will obviously increase with the level of the combiner and also the star level. The other 3-star ability is the Electrical Rush, where you rush into combat, dealing damage to the final target. You spread electrical fire along the way, disabling targets and causing them more damage over 8 seconds. If you hit a target affected by Meteor, the electrical fire propagates in a large area. So it's pretty cool that they're actually stacking the combiner abilities, very similar to what we've seen in some of the triple changers. Now, if you happen to get the 4-star Defensor, you unlock the ability to use the Force Shield, which is very appropriate for Defensor since he was known for the Force Shield in the G1 cartoon, even though it wasn't necessarily that effective in there, but he did use it. So this ability generates a Force Shield around your combiner, and the shield absorbs all damage and heals the combiner, which is the first time we've seen that in a combiner. After 6 seconds, the shield explodes, causing damage in a large area. Very cool. So now let's go ahead and get to those battles. Alright, so here we are ready to go into battle. I thought it was appropriate to bring in the Protectobots, but let's go ahead and go activate him. I did already give him a little bit of a run, so that's why I've got to spend a little more, or 13, to bring him along. Alright, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and drop the Protectobots. Let them get a little bit closer to the base. There we go. Now let's go ahead and drop Defensor. Look how he grabs Blades out of the air. So he shoots a little bit of a fireball out of his cannon. But here's the Meteor, where he actually takes a flying leap and shoots off some fire in that area. So now let's go ahead and stack it with this electrical charge. Boom, look at that. Sets all that off. That is really cool. And this is all available to you with the 3-star Defensor. We set that off. More Meteor, and the Electrical Rush is actually taking a little while to charge up. We didn't use the Force Shield because we're pretending he's a 3-star this time. We'll actually go and do another run with him as the 4-star, using that 4-star ability. So now we just go ahead and finish this off with the rest of the Protectobots. Blades is particularly useful. Rook is pretty helpful too with this high-level decoy, soaks up the damage, pops outpost bots, and then also explodes once it is defeated. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at Defensor compared to the Defensor Combiner Wars toy. You can see that he has Blades on the right arm, First Aid as the left arm, Rook in place of Groove as the right leg, Streetwise in his usual spot as the left leg, and of course, Hotspot in the torso. Now for the chest, which he's covering with his big gun right now, it did go a slightly different direction than what the Combiner Wars toy is. It looks a little bit more like the G1 toy, but still looks pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and transform them out of combine mode and into their alt modes, and we'll take a quick look at them compared to the Combiner Wars toys. He throws off blades, sets down first aid nicely, Hotspot falls off, Rook and Streetwise just kind of roll around back into position, and there are the Protectobots, Rook, Blades, Hotspot, First Aid, and Streetwise. Looking very close to their Combiner Wars toy forms. I think First Aid's probably the biggest departure from the Combiner Wars toy, but overall, great looks. And we'll go ahead and combine them back into Defensor. So we start off, of course, with the legs. We get Streetwise, then Rook. Hotspot comes up there, stands up, picks up First Aid, grabs Blades out of the air, slams him onto his arm, and brings out the gun. And you talking to me, punk? That's right. So there you go. There is Defensor and the Protectobots. Alright, so now I've gone and leveled up Defensor to level 11 because that is the same level as I have as my Volcanicus, which is my current favorite combiner. So let's see how his stats stack up. So we can see he has a massive health of 50,000. His damage is 285 and his power is 3160 compared to Volcanicus, whose power is only 2840 with 42,000 health, but the much higher damage of 370. So between these two guys, and obviously the other combiners have variations on this too, you're looking at damage for Volcanicus with a little bit lower health, or a higher health with Defensor, but less damage. It's pretty common with the standard bots as well, where you have a higher health versus a lower attack, or vice versa, to choose from. So it kind of depends on what strategy that you want to do when you go and attack. So there is Defensor at level 11, so let's go check him out in battle. Alright, so here we are. We're rolling with the Protectobots again with Defensor at level 11, and we are going to be using the 4-star ability. So let's go ahead and drop the Protectobots, get them going. And time to bring in the big gun. There he is. He shoots off a little fireball. Does a pretty good amount of damage there. Time for the meteor. Flying leap right at all of that. Then we'll do the little electrical rush in there to burn things down. While he's in here, let's go ahead and activate that force field. Boom! Completely protected. He's healing ever so slightly. And then a final bit of damage from that force field. Another little meteor. How about we rush him up here to get these two things? And a little stomp. But if we notice that the electrical fire didn't quite get those two beam lasers, because they were not already set on fire by that meteor. That's the benefit of stacking those two abilities. And so now we'll just go ahead and finish off with the rest of the Protectobot squad. And Blades and Rook are definitely useful for this, except for Rook is way out front and not really in the battle at all. And that's going to do it for this first look at Defensor in Transformers Earth Wars. If you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. And you can also stop by my channel Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we live stream and talk about all of the latest news in Transformers Earth Wars and other Transformers topics. I'm Engineer Hoist. Keep rolling, my friends, and we'll see you next time.